And now we will hear from an electrical distributor, Wes Smith of Mayer Electric Supply. Wes?
Yeah, I guess it's a little prophetic that I kind of finish up this little group last, because as a distributor, we're fairly simple folks. Markets are very efficient, and every distributor in this room, we all have a product to sell. We all have a price. And what differentiates us from any other channel that can deliver an electrical product? And the channel is under attack. I mean, you have the Grangers of the world, the Amazons of the world. They're all magnificent logistics companies. They're information providers. So how do we as a distributor continue to add value? Part of that service value equation, where historically product and price, the information that comes along with that, the communication median has historically been a person. And that person is our sustainable competitive advantage. It's the relationship. And the relationship has been defined by the ability to bridge the gap between need and solution. And as this world evolves and the different communication mediums evolve, the information is now flowing electronically. So our competitors that are attempting to attack our channel are spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create a communication medium, the delivery of that service of value equation in a different way. And I look at our channel and I say, how do I compete with that? I'll give you a simple, very simple story. We got our CIO in the back of the room, Barry Carden. He was on the last panel. One of the things we do as a distributor, the first part of every year, we break up into 3 executive teams. We go visit every location at Mayer Electric. It's a pretty big time commitment, 51 locations across 8 states, now 9. And Barry and I went down to Sylacauga, Alabama, population 2,000. And we're sitting in our front lobby, two people on a counter, very small branch, and we're sitting there waiting for 5 o'clock to come along so we can have our meeting. This gentleman walks in, he's got an electrical uniform on. He's carrying this thing in his hand, looks kind of big and bulky, and he sets it up on the counter. He says, y'all got one of these? Our folks start looking at it. I mean, they're bending it, twisting it every way, finding the little tags on there. What are the items? They're looking at catalogs and stuff. Finally, after about 5 minutes, the guy says, well, that's a lighting contactor, and what I need is really a little part that's down inside of it. I researched it all on Granger. I pulled up all the technical specifications. I did all the research. This is what I really need. But y'all were here in town, and I thought you might have one.
Oh.
So what was our sustainable competitive advantage at that point? It happened to be proximity. It happened to be location close to the customer, because the customer wanted it now. But the information, what would have happened if the logistics system of the company where they got the information was able to deliver that product now? To the definition of the customer, what now might have meant. In our industry, part of the value we bring is the end user is not ultimately efficient. So their ability to plan, their ability to get that product at the time they needed it, provided an opportunity for me to fill a gap for their lack of planning. Well, if they become better planners, that's a threat to me. So this whole concept of markets are efficient. It will find its way. I have to have a sustainable system to deliver that information. And today I don't have it. We talk about product quality. We talk about product data. I bet every manufacturer in here has a magnificent catalog and a magnificent navigation tool for folks to come to your site, to navigate through your site to find exactly what they want. Anybody want to disagree with me? Yet your distributor partners don't have that same capability, because we as 2 groups came together and created this magnificent theoretical process called IDEA. And I'm on the board. I have a vested interest in the success of IDEA because it means a sustainable channel. Yet we have this problem that we have great catalogs over here, yet we can't get that same information that would create the same information flow source through our channel. We got to think about that. Why do the top 5 electrical distributors that represent 20% of the industry all build their own catalogs? A, they cannot afford to wait. It's a competitive issue. B, they have the mass and the capital to do it. Therefore, they do. The rest of us have created this organization called IDEA. And there is a big gap, a huge gap, between what we all think we're providing, if I'm a manufacturer, what I think I'm providing to IDEA versus what actually comes out the other side. To its simplistic nature of a top-banded platinum, gold-level platinum provider of data to IDEA. We needed simple quantity package information. And we go back and we get this high-banded data provider, and there's not a single package quantity in the data. Yet we banded it platinum. We banded it platinum because they provided 20,000 SKUs. Well, the number of SKUs is not the measure of data that's actually usable in our industry. So we have to somehow fill this large chasm between what exists at the manufacturer level and what your channel to market, that today is the most efficient channel to the market, providing that data in some format that's actually usable in a myriad of business systems. That is a tremendous challenge. And to do that, we can't just commit a resource here or a resource there. We have to commit some very significant brain power and dollars to create this system. And today it's simple. Today we're talking about parts and pieces. If we all listen to what the moderator and the speakers were talking about on the stage yesterday, when parts and pieces actually become systems and the complexity goes an order of magnitude of 2 or 3x, yet we're still down here struggling with just parts and piece data. And what attribute to put it so it actually, a fuse actually gets into a catalog in a section called fuses. That's pretty simple. But yet today, Amerielectric took 20,000 items. My compadre here talked about 150,000 items. And they're probably adding 100 or 200 items a week or a month or a year that are all very important, that they actually compensate their salespeople differently to sell these new items. Yet I'm just trying to get the basic 20,000, and I had to put 10 people in a room to take high-quality banded data and move them around so they were actually in a catalog section that a customer could come in and say, I want a fuse, and I want this type of fuse, so that it was actually smooth and efficient. Because if they can't come to our site, the channel, and efficiently get to that product in a time frame that in their mind is reasonable, which every day the next person that comes wants it a little bit faster. Otherwise, they're going to the site where they can get a little bit faster. Our channel is under attack, and this issue is critical. I'm done.
Thank you.
Sometimes I preach.
So now we'll open it up for questions. I've got a mic if anybody wants to use it. So our channel is under attack, and we've got one guy raising his hand.
I don't know when the subject has come up, but we have legislation that's going to require Amazon and those guys to pay sales taxes, and we need to all get behind it. Passed the House, but it hasn't passed the Senate, and there are Republicans who are opposed to it. So we need to get behind that legislation because there's a significant disadvantage to us competing with online sellers.
Amazon Supply, when they first launched a year ago, had 500,000 SKUs on their website available for purchase. As we started to discuss them, and probably about 6 months went by, they increased their SKU count from 500,000 to 650,000. And I thought, in preparation for this panel, I'm going to go out and take a look again and just see where they're at. And if you leave up the site long enough, they'll eventually pop up a sign that says this is the number of SKUs. They're now at 750,000 items that they're offering on their website. And And they really understand the importance of having a product content strategy and the investment in technology. And it's shown in several different ways. One is that they demand that data from their manufacturers. Those that they have the direct relationship with, they require that data, and they tell them what kind of images they're going to provide to them as well. So they are very, very specific about the quality of the images that are going to come into them. They also invested, I want to say, like $1.7 billion in 2010 on their technology and content strategy. The following year, they increased that budget by 71% and spent $2.9 billion on it. I know that Grainger has 1 million SKUs right now, and I bet it won't be long before Amazon Supply has the 1 million SKUs as well. But Grainger had $2.2 billion in sales, and 30% of those sales occurred for them online. They feel that they will probably have over half of their sales being generated on their website within the next 3 years. And the best part about that online business for them is that that's their most profitable way to receive and get orders out into the marketplace. And I know some may think that I'm sharing those statistics to like scare the industry into doing things, but that's not the case. What I really want to say is that there's an opportunity that we have for our channel to leverage technology and that product data content. And oh, by the way, Grainger is going to invest another $40 million in their online sales channel. I don't know. I don't think most of us in this room have deep pockets like that. And even if we did, I think it's wasteful to spend money like that when you know the manufacturers can gather up that data one time and provide it to all of their authorized channel partners. When, Wes, you were talking about the number of people that you put in a room to gather up that product data, not the only guy out there. Every distributor we're talking to is saying time is of the essence. We cannot wait for the manufacturers to give us this data anymore. We're going to go get it however we can. And I'm just saying, with all of the competitive landscape and how it's changing, we can't afford to have that kind of inefficiency in our channel. We need to do it once, and we need to do it right, and we need to share it in a controlled environment.
Yes, Tammy?
I think one of the essential problems that I see is we need to start being honest with ourselves. So although I agree with everything you said, Denise, it's not one time, right? And that's the problem we as manufacturers have. It's not one time. So we need to stop simplifying the conversation and really be honest with ourselves and understand that it's a dedicated resource inside, it's 2 dedicated resources, it's a department, it's whatever it is. But it is not filling out a spreadsheet one time. And from the manufacturer's standpoint, that's our pain point. When the materials change, when a screw head goes from a hex to a Phillips, when there's a new color ad, all of those things have to be constantly updated, because what I heard from the panel was it's all about integrity. Integrity takes investment and resources. So I don't think we're going to get anywhere as an industry until we all start being honest with ourselves as to what the investment is going to take. Then we bite the bullet and we do it. But I mean, I think we need to, in the process of this conversation, stop oversimplifying how easy everybody thinks this is, because it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination.
And
Thank you.
Tammy, the comment on the do it once was really about having the manufacturer take that responsibility rather than having each of the individual distributors do it. I made a list of what I think the manufacturer challenges are for managing their data as an asset, and one of them is you have to stop treating it like a project and create a process around that data, because until you have that, you're going to continually be in a mode of cleanup, and you're going to continually have data that's out of date in the marketplace. So you're absolutely right. It's not, I won't say it's a huge undertaking or it's really complex. It can be done. We have companies who have implemented data governance strategies, and they work, and they bring a huge amount of value. And I have a whole list of all these great success stories. But we do have to have a data governance strategy. And manufacturers, I would really encourage you to think about your data as an extension of your new product launch, because you would never consider putting a new product out in your manufacturing facility to be developed without a very specific set of processes, having a controlled set of quality control procedures. Your data needs to be just one more extension of that process, because the data in and of itself and how it gets consumed in the marketplace, again, it's about the data being in motion. And when that data is in motion, that's when it has the value. So the agility of the data, if you will, is incredibly important from a consumption standpoint. We got to be able to easily consume the data in the industry so that we can get it up on these different applications. So whether we're talking about EDI or VMI or the e-commerce websites and all of those other fantastic technologies that we need to embrace.
So just to kind of comment on both Tammy's and Denise's statements, I think it's when we say, Tammy was saying we can't simplify this. I mean, it's not, at the end of the day, really, it's the manufacturer's problem. We need to get our partners the information. But on the manufacturer side, the larger the corporation, especially like a company like Eaton, so we're a $21 billion organization. We have acquisition after acquisition after acquisition. We have ERP after ERP after ERP. So we're trying to put our arms around this massive, massive thing and to make it usable for the distributor. And it's a very difficult thing. I mean, when we look at, you have to change your engineering processes. You have to change your engineering systems. Product registration is completely different now. So you started at a point before, now it's different. So it's definitely a manufacturer's problem, and they need to do it. And we are doing it. Eaton's actually committed to a global team. We're having a global governance data stewardship team of 12 to 15 people to start maintaining this data and actually start. So when we do give you the data and we get it to 100% or 98.8%, we have a constant level of refinement and keep on getting better and better and better and better. But it is very difficult to do, especially in just changing the culture of an organization. It's not an easy thing. And to manage data as a strategic asset, and then you have to convince the entire business, not just a subset of people, but the entire business, that we no longer can just do enough when it comes to product data. It has to be a strategic asset. We have to understand what we do today when we register a product, that information is going to be sent to how many source systems, how many distributors, how many customers, ultimately when all the systems consume it. It's a slow process, unfortunately, but it's reality. It's definitely the manufacturer's problem to solve. And I think a lot of manufacturers are doing it because they realize how important it is today. But I just want to make sure that we do. It's not as simple as one with, flip a switch, you throw a couple $1 million at it and it's done, because it's just not the case. It's ongoing structural change, cultural change, and it requires a lot of money and a lot of resources. But it will pay off. I mean, we firmly believe that we'll see the investment, our investment have returns. So.